So to date this video, two things. First off, if I don't do as much perm or make as much custom content, at least just in general for World of War, it's because I'm very busy right now trying to get things taken care of. A few things, then all of those things are serious, including game dev stuff, because everything's tied together basically. Everything that I'm doing is tied together in a way. And so, as we quick play for the sake of Juri here, oh my goodness, that's a combination. The second thing to note is that, yeah, if you're gonna start seeing game development videos come out alongside World of War videos, that's why I am, again, part of the reason why I'm busy is because of game development. Eldritch Parasite, right? Yeah, so, anywho. As we get into the run, I'll mention it after the timestamp as well, just so that we can focus on World of War here, is that, yeah, we're gonna just use all the perm custom content and whatnot, and just stick with this for the rest of the month for filler episodes. Because, again, I will be doing perm stuff as well, it's just that I need a day or two in between, because when I'm busy doing game dev stuff or other projects that I might be doing, actually, I'm focusing just on game dev. If you've seen the recent video, you've seen it. Oh my goodness, I can't find Eldritch Parasite. Then, you know the deal. Oh my sweet goodness, why did that take me so long? We're just gonna set random item stats on, and let's get into this run. So, it's actually been a little bit, but as we get into Zektast, Eldritch Parasite, random item stats, Juri filler series, go. So, it's not that Juri doesn't matter as much, it's that Eldritch Parasite in my strategy, I'm not even going to say opinion, and for my strategy, I rely less on the character and more on what you're about to see. Again, if you've been with this channel even a few times on Eldritch Parasite, not Zektast, you'll see what I mean, but as we get light, charisma, strength, knowledge, second encounter, and maybe a second mystery check, the fact that we're on Zektast is going to hurt us a bit, because your character will have an effect here. The question is whether or not your stats are high enough to survive an extra 20 to 30% doom, if you're unlucky. If you're not unlucky, then you can pretty much just walk forward with what I'm going to show you. So, yeah, if, again, you have about average luck. Again, average luck for me, I usually consider probability value is about 50%. Preferably 60%, because I like to have players, you know, be a bit more at an advantage, but let's say 50% as we see Arms, Akamanto, Vigil, Template, and Pupils. We'll take Template now, why not? Just so we can make sure we showcase the thing that we're doing here. Also, yes, I do need to release Template, a character, and probably a few other things I'm holding on to, but really just those two things, the mystery template, because that's what I worked for at the end of Perm, and then a character, because Perm was recently updated, so I wanted to make sure that any changes to Perm were not going to affect the character. Usually Perm is very good about that. Here's your normal disclaimer that I am not associated with Perm in terms of being a developer or any of the code. I just play with Perm, and yes, I do have credits where I've helped out, but that's part of what I mean by I'm not related to the development, but I've done a lot of things, you know, reported bugs here and there, or tried to report bugs. What was I doing again? Police station, school, right? Because I was looking through the threat levels. Yeah, so mansion, school, template, something, I forgot my mysteries. Moving on. Not that anytime my mind does go crazy, it's because of what I'm about to say, but game dev is on my mind right now, so yeah. Anyway, if you need base World of War advice, this is not really good advice, but it's another option if you so choose. So if you're on Eldritch Parasite and you're struggling to win, just, if you have History Club unlocked, just spam History Club until you get either Ghostly Spear or Mind Drain. Either of those two spells to make it easier for anyone who doesn't know World of War. Just look for this middle option. This book icon is essentially signaling that the middle option is always going to be a spell. You're looking for one of those two spells. Now, there are some other details to that. For example, if you see Gruesome Totem, take it if you don't have Akamanto in your run. I do have Akamanto in my run, so I kind of just wasted it there. But in case I need the extra Doom to hold off Zektast here, which is an extra little nice thing, then yes, it is important to get the Gruesome Totem. Otherwise, I just kind of did hurt myself more. But, yeah, and if you don't get Ghostly Spear or Mind Drain, then that's just RNG. Now, that being said, there's I could talk about this. I might as well talk about this as we're autopiloting here. Again, this doesn't matter as much on the character, except for in Juri's case, we do have only 3 dexterity, which is our lowest stat. That means at 63% Doom, I will die to Zektast unless I level up. So the thing about Juri as well is that the horror progress also increases. So once you can't level up anymore, you are in a bit of trouble when you need to complete the run in under however much a Doom threshold you have based on the stats that you have, because you can't increase your stats anymore, barring a spell or in Perm's case, certain custom content. And here's where Gruesome Totem would not help, because Gruesome Totem does not decrease horror progress as well. So if we sit here and die, we'll do another run, basically. But just to kind of take a step back, the reason why I consider this kind of more a separate option that you can do on Eldritch Parasite if you're having trouble is because if you're unlucky enough to not get Ghostly Spirit or Mind Drain in all of these rerolls of History Club, there's just as likely a chance that you just do poorly in your events or the events you run into. Now, that's not the best, not evidence, but not argument either, but you get what I mean. It's not the best, like, kind of topic to sit on here, but I mean, I think you can kind of get my point. So, and if not, I will more than gladly explain otherwise. But as we're probably going to horror out here and then lose all of our experience, yeah, the fact if we did see a Ghostly Spirit and or Mind Drain, I think this is the farthest I've gone without seeing it. Maybe there's one other time where I just re-rolled, because I don't think I've ever doomed out trying to look for one of the two spells. Now, that being said, something to note really quickly here is that in this specific run, as we pretty much die, because there's no way we're completing a doom. Well, no, for myself, I'm not going to complete this run. But at this point, I'm just curious. And I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Oh, my goodness. This is what my stream of consciousness thoughts get me. But I think I was saying something along the lines of I've never doomed out re-rolling History Club for either Ghostly Spirit or Mind Drain. Oh, but what I was trying to get to is that with Perm, if you're playing with the same custom content I'm working with, because even if you get Perm, Perm does not come with spells like Time Warp, which is a Perm-specific spell. There are at least a few other spells. I think there's like 6 if I wanted to guess exactly, but there are more than a handful of spells that are added if you decide to get all of the Perm custom content that exists right now on Nexus Mods, because that's directly where it's from. So there is a pack of custom content that Perm comes with, Perm does not come with custom content, but you can download and get custom content along that's in a pack for Perm, basically. That is pretty much not sponsored, but I think the Perm team has also put a pack up. If I'm forgetting things for some reason, then so be it. But basically, to explain here, I think I re-rolled, so pretty much 1 for 1. Let's just remove like 10-15% Doom. So I re-rolled 45 times and did not see Mind Drain or Ghostly Spirit once. Now, that being said, as I monument here, because that's our only recourse for the moment. Oh my sweet goodness. We can't level up. I accidentally left the monument, but you get the point. Yeah. The point I'm trying to get at is that because these extra spells exist, then that increases the pool of spells in which you need to pull one of Mind Drain and or Ghostly Spirit. Let's even be generous and say that there are 60 spells in the game. I think that averages, if I had a ballpark or just, guess, I would say that there is a 20% chance among 20-30% Doom to see Mind Drain and or Ghostly Spirit. It could actually be very, very much worse than that. But as we doom out here, because, we just re-rolled it too much, we'll do another run. In fact, we'll do another Zectast. I was going to say Gruesome Totem. We'll do another Zectast. Yeah, Perm 1.45. I just had to note my version just in case I forgot. But let's move on. That is Mimi. That is not Juri. Why do I keep confusing Mimi with Juri? They're nowhere near each other. Well, I mean, they're near each other here, but you get the point. Moving on. Eldritch Parasite, oh my goodness, come to me. But I forgot I was going to say it again. I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, back into this run. I could play more. You know what? If we doom out twice, we'll keep this a longer video. Might as well give you more content to deal with. Deal with, that sounds negative. Light, Takshisan knowledge, second encounter, charisma, dexterity. Again, I go through that just to at least go through that, in case anyone's new watching World of Horror, but otherwise, so, just really quickly, to kind of skirt around the forest that I'm talking about here, is that, I didn't need to bring that, by the way, unless there's an event that requires a bottle of water, but, oh my sweet goodness, why do I do this to myself? Stream of consciousness thought. Oh, the other strategy is, yes, just to play as normal. Yeah, Shrug, Recluse, Botanist, Festival, Postal, Rental. Oh, sweet goodness. Well, I have to take one of these two now. We'll take Postal now. I think Postal, value-wise, is painful than Rental, but don't quote me on that. So History Club, we're going to do the same thing. So yeah, this time we don't grab the Gruesome Totem, even though we don't have Akamoto, and it'd be good for, you know what, it gave it to me twice. What are the odds of that, by the way? Can you get perm items in the middle of this? Because I feel like these items are... well, actually, no, it would make sense. If they're from a pool of items, then it can include perm items, because perm items you can designate to have... you can designate them for certain item pools, for those who don't know. But we're going to look for it again. Now, that's not just... Again... Now I'm curious, actually. If I doom out due to looking for... Or Zektast or doom out due to... Rerolling History Club, we'll do a normal run where I just grab a weapon, and I'll show you why I don't like doing that. It is just as consistent, probably likely a lot more consistent than this, but again, it's here I realize that, yeah, that's right, perm, because I added perm specific spells to this, this does increase the pool, and we know that because those perm spells can appear here. So, yeah, we're just gonna sit like this, because even though we grabbed the gruesome totem, it's the horror progress that that Juri really needs to worry about, because we need to hit 4 in every stat at the moment to give us extra doom. Now, that being said, the fact that we are not seeing either of those two spells is, I feel like I've done this before with every perm, with all the custom content, including perm custom content that I have before, and I've seen Ghostly Spirit and our Mind Drain relatively quickly. So yeah, but yeah, even with 50-60 spells, it's not like your chances are completely on the ground. I think they're better than 50%. I feel like they're actually better than 50%, so 20%, 30% might be a bit of a stretch. But still, it is RNG, so, I mean... Should I say what I was going to say? I'm not going to say. It wasn't anything negative, it was just more a wording problem that this platform may catch me on, but as we just keep reroll... Okay, yeah, you know what? We're just going to do a normal run after this. Yeah, so you can see spells like Time Warp. Again, those are perm-specific spells. I probably just pointed out that spell twice. But as we whore out here, which means we will die. Hey, it's finally Ghostly Spear. Unfortunately, because even if I use the Gruesome Totem, we will have whored out. So, we'll just walk forward. Again, just struggle till the end, but we'll see. Now, at this point, I don't remember which choices take out Doom, partly because my mind's going crazy at my luck here, but either way, the prospects are not good. If you had to decide, I was going to say bet. If you had to decide on whether or not I survived this run or not, I think like 99 out of 100 people would say no. Goodness. But anywho. So yeah, we die at 63% Doom because our Dexterity hits 0 or negative values, and so what ends up happening is your Doom shoots up to 100%. Shrug, but as we sit here and do our best, so we grabbed Ghostly Spear. I should have actually taken stamina damage. Not that I know how to take stamina damage in that event, if there is an option to, but yeah, I prefer Mind Drain because of this, although I think Ghostly Spear does more damage. Yeah, I think it does like 6 damage, and Mind Drain does 5. But either way, yeah, not really much else to say here. So, as our Doom shoots up through the roof and we cannot do anything, we'll at least take it out on this postman here, so... you're gonna get all these spears before the world ends with Zektast. So, yeah. Can I even do this without taking any actual stamina damage? I can. But yeah. And I'll talk about another aspect of Zektast afterward, but as we get time, I was about to say time skip, that would have been perfect for bad RNG. But again, my RNG isn't the worst. And certainly there's a lot of human, not interaction, but there's a lot of the human element here where you are, the player is a large factor, but RNG is not a small factor. Let's just put it that way. So, as I fail every check because all of our stats are low, like actually because of all of our stats are low, not really much else to say. We'll do one more run and we'll give it a good one. So, same settings, Zektast, Eldritch Parasite, all perks, and off we go. So, without further ado, if I were to... Oh my goodness, I can never find Juri immediately here. Why do I do this to myself? But when we get into this run, I will show you the strat here, so blah, blah, blah. I can't speak. So as we get into Zektast, Eldritch Parasite, random item stats, Juri for the final third time for this video. Yeah, Strength, Dexterity, Light, Takshisan, second encounter, second mystery, and we're going... I would like to build... I was going to say, we're going to build into Strength, but that wouldn't be correct, because I need to increase Dexterity by 2, and Knowledge and Charisma by 4. Now, here is where Juri's stat increasing perks do have an effect of... Watch me get Ghostly Spirit Mind... I was about to say. Can this help me? Yes, to take less damage, so maybe the fact... Oh, no, because this is RNG for getting spells. Anyway... don't mind my mumbling there, it's just me trying to think about what to do on Eldritch Parasite on this perm specific run. Again, it's very specific because of all the content I'm using. So if you're not using the exact same content that I'm using, yeah, even a small little shift there of RNG won't matter. I'll try to explain that if I remember. Teacher, Painting, Vigil, UYEW, and Template. We'll take Template now, get our salty run back, and if we can't complete the run, we'll at least do this. So, Checkbook immediately. I do think Checkbook is still going to be better than Prepare. Why do I always believe that? Let's see. 2 Doom for... Yeah, so 4 Doom gets you 2 funds with Prepare. Where 4 Doom here gets you 3 funds. Now, you might not need all the 6 funds, but I argue that you'll end up tossing funds at an event at some point anyway, whether you want to or not. Shrug, and that's all I have to say. So, Meat Cleaver here, grab this, and off we go. Yeah, not really much else to say at the moment. So, but yes, just to go through it really quickly here is that the strategy for Eldritch Parasite, if you want to be more consistent and you believe in your RNG to some extent, is just to play normally. And, but the Cadaver, the detailed, I keep saying Cadaver, what does that actually mean? The detail here to note, the very important asterisk is that you need to know how to be efficient in World of Horror. So, whether that's efficient because you guess on RNG because you like dodging, or maybe you like gambling on a stat check that can mean very bad things if you fail, or you decide to play it more safe like I like to do, embrace on odd damage and whatnot. I'm not saying that's the most efficient way, because again, you could be playing with a very RNG strat, or a more RNG strat, where you like to, like, you know, treat twice for 2 spells, and maybe those 2 spells are normally what you need in most runs in a vacuum of runs, or Shrug. I don't know. There are a few other strategies you can do. I just named at least 2 different ways that you could change your run. But oh my sweet goodness, we have to buy one. So here's why I said you have to throw away funds, because even if you have the funds, if you can't refuse. So we're gonna grab fuel. If we have painting, cool. If we don't, shrug. But yeah, not really much else to say at the moment. So we're gonna save Matsui-san just to try and be cool. However, yeah, again, as you noticed here, our horror progress is already shooting up through the roof, and we have to fight a big fat slime. So we'll just throw our RNG into the mix, and this is again, no one else has this mystery yet, so having this mystery in your run is going to hurt on an Eldritch Parasite run, because you're pretty much always taking all damage unless you're lucky. This is why I say that my RNG, I don't like to believe in it, because even if you're like another strategy that it seems like a slight change, but it's actually important, is that maybe you like to gamble on like 80-50% every attack, and you don't like to just guarantee a big strong attack, which at this point probably would have been better for me, but here, by the way, probably, yeah, non-Eldritch, by the way, non-Eldritch, non-human. Unfortunately, this is an Eldritch enemy, so it doesn't even take effect. And the reason that's important is because a lot of pretty much hard enemies, we'll just say hard, difficult to fight enemies, are Eldritch type enemies, so there are more than a few cases in which Turn Beast is helpful. Unfortunately, I did not win the 50-50 coin flip of, hey, I need to fight an enemy that's not a human or not an Eldritch enemy and use Turn Beast. Nope. Nope. So, off we go. YEWU, Vigil, Painting, Teacher. So we do have Painting. I would like a light source. Maybe a chainsaw will save me here, but we didn't even get a Juri perk here. So again, even RNG says nah. But at this point, we're gambling. So here's why. Yeah, it's a big gamble for me. So one, unless we level up again, we probably need to level up twice if we're really unlucky. But Juri has 2 perks that increase dexterity, or that increase her stats. One of them increases dexterity by 2, and if it's not by 2, Juri's even worse. But she also has one that increases knowledge by 2 as well. However, they increase Doom. And on an Eldritch Parasite run, that's on Zictast. This very specific combination of Zictast, Eldritch Parasite, and the horror progress, because Juri is very painful. So that means if I increase dexterity by 2 now, I only need to look for the knowledge perk. This can go badly if I don't see the knowledge perk and instead see the dexterity perk. But if I take, say, a point in knowledge here, and either I don't level up twice or I don't see either of those stat increasing perks, it can be very bad as well. But you know what? I'm just going to take the split the difference here and guarantee that our knowledge is high enough. Now, again, we could get a curse or an injury that just decreases our knowledge. That would be sad. Or on the opposite side of RNG, good RNG, I'm doing a thumbs up in real life, good RNG, if you get, you know, a test event that increases a stat you need, sure. But I argue that you shouldn't normally be needing to rely on that. And here's the Doom one, by the way. Instead, we're going to just split the difference here again. So we're going to take Dexterity and Knowledge, because we're going to hope that we don't get an injury or a curse that lowers either of those two stats, or any of my stats that are lowering, by the way. Yeah, not much else to say. So, that being said, so just to kind of step out of the forest one more time for the moment, is that if you are really, really efficient and you get lucky, you pretty much won't notice anything at all, really. Yeah, your stats will decrease, but that's the only thing you'll really notice, and the reason why I don't care about that, well, events are events. Yes, they hurt your events for an average lucky person. Also, note that my stamina and reason are 14, so never mind. But for surviving this run, but yeah, you won't feel anything else, because aside from events, in battle, stats contribute not as much to your action speed, even though it's quite a bit, but you get the point. It's not as much as you think. It does matter at a certain point, but it doesn't matter as much as you think. And so, yeah, if you're efficient and you have good luck in your run, you won't really notice any of these things at all. Zectast, Eldritch Parasite, so on and so forth. Now, you'd still have to be, again, the nuance here is that you need to be efficient. And if you're not, you will immediately feel the effects of one or multiple of these, whether you're playing as Juri in the Horror Progress, whether you are on Eldritch Parasite and you're like, ow, I'm losing all of my HP, or you're on Zectast and you just zero stat and die. So again, for those who don't know, when I say zero stat, I mean that that's a very specific term that I use for Zectast, or just in general. Actually, in general, yeah, Zectast zero stats you, and your Doom shoots up to 100%. So basically, zero stat means you lose the run. Now, it's not always guaranteed. There are ways to save yourself, but usually those are preventative measures beforehand, and not exactly you fighting. So. Actually, I think, funny enough, this is my second encounter. So, again, here, if you're lucky, you won't really see a change, because it's like, oh, I took 1 stamina damage, and I could still do, 2 attacks in a turn. So, if you're lucky, that'll happen. However, in my case, I had a fight template, so that's not going to happen, and so sadness happens. Now, again, these are with my, stepping out of the forest the third time, these are with my self-house rules, where I don't reroll mysteries. And again, you could just choose to not choose the custom mystery. You could just reroll your mysteries. In Perm, you can reroll your custom mysteries. So, yeah. Now, in this specific instance, I think we turn Beast here just to try on save on HP. But, yeah, unless we get bonus damage, I'm not sure. I think we still just take a bunch of damage off the bat. I can't even do 2 strong attacks, so I guess we'll just bet the house and dodge into an attack. So we have to win a 50% and then win an 85%. We did not win the 50%, but we did get the attack, so time to gamble on a relative 66%. Okay, well, again, there you won't feel it as much, even though that was like pretty much 4 all damage I took. 2 to 4 all damage I took. But yeah, when your stats don't matter, this is not good RNG, by the way. This is terrible RNG. At the very least, if you're taking template in a run like this, you're going to take damage on average. Now, again, you could be very efficient and very lucky, so everything works out, but when you're not, sadness happens. So we're going to take Dexterity here just to kind of round everything out. If I lose all my knowledge and actually zero stat instead of die to stamina, I would be a little intrigued. But anyway, so we're going to dodge, and we might as well just, again, bet the farm on this. Can't even do a strong attack, so just literally 50% chance. We're going to put Sensory Bunny on screen preemptively. We did dodge the attack, and so we just do this now. Attack strong. And off we go. Now, there's another part of Zectast kind of RNG that we need to consider to consider here, and it does have to do with Zectast events. With Zectast events, when I say that, I normally mean Zectast events that increase your stats. I think those are the only Zectast events that exist for this old god, but you get the point. If RNG is nice to you, yes, you don't need to use perks on level up or level up and increase your stats because, well, as we take Sensor Bunny off the screen, Zectast will increase them for you. But I consider that actually a little bit better than good luck, because that's a lot. So, you know what? We'll just take the knowledge one. We're on Zectast, might as well. If you want it from me, did I try to heal stamina or reason? I shouldn't have done that, because again, we're on Eldritch Parasite. But, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, we don't have a light source, unfortunately, so funny enough, we're going to take Vigil. Yeah, I'm kind of holding out. Oh, I accidentally took Loom on accident. Well, either way, This run is looking very bad. 4 stamina, 9 reason. If we somehow actually survive this, then I really, I misclicked here. I misclicked. I swear I didn't take Luma on purpose. So, keep to ourselves, and that's a free one. We'll just take that. But, without anything, yeah. So we got this. We actually got quite lucky here. Now we never got a knowledge increasing event, but this means that I didn't need to increase dexterity at all. And never mind though, but this because the rest of the run just decided to slap me in the face with stamina. Yeah, not really much else to say. If I was gonna say something, if you want to hear me talk about it, then remind me in either the comment section or the next video. Otherwise, not really much else to say. RNG is as it is, and at least got to the 4th mystery. But boy, oh boys, does this hurt. So yeah, without further ado, I guess I'll see you in the next video.